Over the top chili, out of bounds good. You gotta try this.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to G-Rod Grills. My name is Gerardo and this is my channel. If you're into backyard barbecue on a variety of different smokers, like this Bradley P10 you see right behind me, then please consider subscribing because that's exactly what this channel is all about. It's getting cold around here and what that screams to me is that it is chilly weather. I don't know about you, but I love a good bowl of chili when it's nice and cold outside. It's just so comforting. It is absolutely delicious. So today I'm gonna be making an over-the-top chili in the Bradley P10 smoker. We're gonna add a lot of that smoke flavor to the meat and to the chili itself, and it's gonna be absolutely fantastic. Are you ready to get going? Let's go. All right, here we go. So we've got our smoker set to 300 degrees, but we haven't added any wood in there yet. What I'm gonna do, the first thing I'm gonna do is gonna add my Dutch oven here to the middle of this rack. Hopefully you can see here, this is double racked in here. This is because the Dutch oven's pretty heavy and it's gonna get heavier as we add more things to it. So I wanna make sure it's got enough support in there. Again, no wood yet. We're gonna add those wood biscuits as soon as we are ready to kind of get smoking. Right now, I just wanna get this up to temperature. So 300 degrees and let it sit in here and warm up while you go and do the rest of the prep. So it'll be a good, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. It'll be in here. It should be nice and warm by the time you're ready to put in some veggies. All right, here we go. So now let's get our veggies prepped up. Now that we've got our Dutch oven in the smoker, let's get the rest kind of prepped up here. What we're gonna need is, I'm gonna need one whole onion. It's about a medium size, a small onion. I got one Roma tomato here and then one garden tomato that's kind of been sitting on my counter a little bit. So I figured might as well use that up. I always like to add a little bit of fresh tomato to mine. Couple peppers, some bell peppers, and in here I've got a can of diced tomatoes that I've kind of half drained. I'm just using regular diced tomatoes. Use whatever kind of tomatoes it is that you like the best. So let's get started here. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rough chop all of these because you want some of that texture in your chili, and we'll go from there. So we'll start with the onions, and then I'll just chop this all up and I'll speed it up for you so you don't have to watch me kind of do it all. Okay, so here we go. So now we've got about, like I said, about an onion, a few peppers worth, a can of diced tomatoes, and some extra tomatoes that I diced on my own. That's gonna be our veggies. And then for our rub or our seasoning, what we're gonna do is, I don't have a whole lot of measurements to be honest with you. So I'm just gonna kind of give you what my process is. I generally do enough seasoning to kind of cover my mixture. So we're gonna start off with a little bit of ancho chili powder. And you can buy this at your regular grocery store. And it's, I don't know, it's probably about a teaspoon's worth. And just enough to kind of cover all of it. I'm gonna add some paprika. And this is smoked paprika that I'm using. It adds a little bit extra flavor. And again, just to kind of cover a little bit, maybe go a little heavier on the paprika. And then we're gonna use garlic powder. Now, this one for sure, you wanna go a little bit heavier. You can also put regular minced garlic. I didn't have any, so we're gonna go a little heavier on this guy. Love the taste of garlic. Next is a ground cumin. Again, just to kind of cover the top of it. And then you're gonna season more as we kind of get going too. If you need it, we'll taste it along the ways and make sure that we've got what we need here. Next, I've got chili powder. Honestly, this is really important. If you're making chili, you wanna make sure you have enough chili powder. Next, I'm gonna add some onion powder, and just like we did with the other stuff, just enough to cover. Next, we're gonna add a little bit of cinnamon. I know this is a little bit different, and maybe some of you already do add a little bit of cinnamon to your chili, but it adds a little bit of sweetness to it. I think it's really, really good. You don't need a whole lot. It has a lot of flavor. So we're gonna add about that much on a teaspoon here, about I'd say maybe about a quarter teaspoon. And then I'm going to add about a couple teaspoons worth of tomato paste. This is going to just give me or thicken up this this chili a little bit. And then last but not least, and bear with me here, trust me, we'd add a little bit of ketchup, good old-fashioned ketchup. Just a little, a little bit, just to kind of give it a little bit of sweetness. And we've got a little tomato in there, but the ketchup is going to just make that little bit of a difference. Now we give that a mix. And there we go. So that's going to be our base for our chili. We are going to add a little bit more liquid in here once we put it into that Dutch oven. Let's go and do that now so that this has time to simmer. Okay, so here we go. So I've taken my Dutch oven out of the smoker here. It's really, really hot, so you want to be really careful. We're just going to transfer our ingredients here carefully. And of course, you want to give it a taste to make sure it's all according to your taste. You can obviously use your own chili recipe. Just don't add the meat on just yet. All right, next here's how we're going to add some more liquid to it. I'm going to be using about 3/4 of a can of beer here. I'm using just a Pilsner beer, a light beer. You can use whatever you prefer. You can use non-alcoholic if you'd like, or you can add whatever type of liquid it is that you'd like. I'm going to put this back in the smoker, and I'm going to put in 2 biscuits of hickory wood. I'm just going to start adding a little bit of smoke to this, but not too much. Those 2 biscuits will give me about 40 minutes worth, and in that time we'll be ready to put our meat on. But I'll show you what we're going to do with the meat here in a second. Okay, here we go. So here's how we're going to prep our meat. I'm going to use the same bowl that I just prepped all of our stuff in, and that's just because there's, all the seasonings and stuff are still in there. There's a little bit of that tomato juice in there. I want to get a lot of that. I don't want to waste any of that. So I've got here a pound of ground beef. This is extra lean ground beef, which is, I think it's about 90-10 beef to fat ratio. So there's not a lot of fat in there. I don't want a whole ton of fat to be tripping out of this, but I do want to add a little bit more fatty flavor to it, more flavor to it, I should say. So what I'm going to use is I've got 3 Italian sausage links here, and I'm just going to kind of split them and then dump them in. All right, so now that we've got it in there, just, you can do it with your hands, or you just get some gloves on and just kind of break it apart, and we're gonna incorporate all of this. Now, I am gonna add a little bit of seasoning to this, not a whole lot. I want, this is gonna get a lot of that chili flavor once it gets in there, but I do want a little bit of flavor in there as well. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of garlic. And that wasn't a whole lot of seasoning, just a little teeny tiny bit, and we're set. So now let's get it out of here. And what you want to do is just kind of form a ball or like a football. And there we go. This is going to be our little roast or meat that's going to go into that chili. We're going to smoke this above the chili. I'll show you that in a second. But first, I'm going to set this in the fridge for the next half an hour or so. And about that time, I'll come back in. I'll throw it on top. We'll add some more wood biscuits, and it'll be ready to go. I'll show you when we're ready to put this in the smoker, and we'll go from there. All right, so it's been about 45 minutes or so, and now it's time to put the meat on. So this is what makes it over the top. We're gonna be putting the little ball of meat that we made here just over top of the chili, and as it cooks, all of its juices are gonna drip down into the chili and just give us a lot of that flavor there. I've added about 2 hours worth of biscuits in there. I'm using hickory wood today, and that's pretty much it. We're just gonna let this roll right now, get some of that smoke, and once we reach 140, I'll show you how we break this up. All right, so my alarm's gone off here. We're now sitting at 145 degrees internal for that delicious ball of meat right there. And you can see, hopefully you can see in there, the drippings all inside. It's all nice and bubbly. Color on that meat is fantastic. So I'm gonna get it out of here, and we're gonna crumble it, put it back in, and then put it back in the smoker. I'll show you when we take it apart. All right, here we go. So let's kind of get this going. So I'm just gonna put this aside for a second. It smells so good. Now, the fun part. I'm gonna take this meat. We're done with the meter probe, and we're just gonna crumble it over top of all of this. Oh, look at all those juices. Get it all in there. Try to get all the big chunks, and the rest, I guess, we're just gonna cut them or break them up with our spatula or spoon here. All right, so I'm gonna put this back into the smoker, but we're done with the smoke now, and I'm gonna put the lid back onto this. I'll show you when we're done. So in about another hour to an hour and a half from now, just when this has gotten to the right consistency, we'll be ready to try it. I'll show you when we're ready to do that. All right, here we go. This is what it looks like once it's finished up. It looks delicious. I've got it plated up here with some cheese, some sour cream, a little fresh pico, and a touch of cilantro. Man, it smells so good. I can't wait to try it. So let's go give this a go. All right, well, here we go. So the chili is all ready to go. It smells absolutely fantastic. Smell a lot of that smoke. It smells like delicious chili and perfect weather for it. So good.
over the top chili for me, the top of all the chilies that I've made. It is so good. Like I said, so packed full of flavor. All that smoky's there. A lot of that spice from the sausage. You get all the veggies because we smoked them earlier on as well. Got a lot of that smoke in there as well. So it's subtle and it's throughout, not just little bursts and bits and pieces here and there. It's everywhere. Over the top chili, out of bounds good. You gotta try this. Well, that's all I've got for you today. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to see some more, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any content. Until next time, I'll catch you on the next G-Rod Wheels.